I was sentenced to 6 years in the state penitentiary for a credit card that I did. It was $832. So I was housed with death row inmates and murderers and everybody. All the women who did any kind of crime in Alabama, that's where they were. There was no air conditioning. It was, the place looked like chicken coops. Like, it was just big tin buildings with bunk beds in it. The first 3 months when I was there, I actually got granted parole. And they had sent me to drug rehab center, which drugs have never been an issue for me. But that was their way of keeping us in the system and still getting paid, but yet we're paroled out of the system. About 2 weeks in, they sent me back to Tutwiler. They revoked my parole because they said I wasn't granted parole for that. I was like, okay. They sent me to Louisiana almost immediately because of the overcrowding there, and it was a private prison that they got millions of dollars for to use every year. I was down there for 5 months, and I was granted parole again. My best friend was actually, her parole was revoked because she had a girlfriend. And because I was her friend, they ended up revoking my parole because they said I had stole a coffee pot from her that she'd actually given me because we were best friends. And so they sent me back to Tutwiler again. I spent another year, about another 16 months at Tutwiler to finish out my sentence. I didn't see my children for 3 years. So, it's the worst part. I was hustling because I couldn't provide for my kids. And at the time, I was pregnant with my daughter when I did the credit card thing because I was trying to get baby stuff, but that still doesn't excuse it. But it gives you, when you have the mentality that you have to provide for your kids, you're gonna do it in any way, shape, or form you can. If there were better resources that could have helped me, that probably would have been one of the first things that I would have done. Because it's like you call places and nobody has funds available or they can't help you with rent. And if you're the only one you can depend on, then you do what you gotta do. And that was what I did. I would do anything for my kids. So, unfortunately, I did the wrong thing, but still. I came home in 2007, and I've not committed another crime ever. And it still comes up on my background. I still can't get jobs. And this was 16 years ago, 16, 17 years ago. I still had to do the 30 months in prison. And then I still had to pay like $10,000 in restitution. It still follows me to this day. It's like, I paid for it, can I get past it now? I can't get a decent job because I made a mistake almost 2 decades ago. When I was young and stupid and, it happens. If after 10 years, 15 years and you haven't done anything, let it just slide off the record. Let it just not show up anymore. I just feel like I can't, like I'm a bad person, like I can't better myself because it's always there. It's like an anchor. It's always holding me back. And so I don't feel like I'm worthy of, too many things because of it. It always kind of makes me feel like I'm a failure in life, no matter how hard I try. And that's the worst part, because it does keep your self-esteem very low. And that is hard, to know that you're not good enough for a job. You can't even get a minimum wage job because you made a mistake. That's the worst part, because they do look at you like you're just horrible and you're not good enough for anything. Stop looking at me like I'm still a horrible person because I made a mistake. So that's the biggest problem. When somebody pays for something with so much, and they've shown that they've changed and they don't do any more crimes and they don't go back to jail or prison, it's like, let them get past it. Just let me have a future now.